Hey everybody, this is Pastor Chris coming to you live from Lexington Park Baptist Church. This is Word of Encouragement from PC Studios. It is January the 19th, 2023. How in the world are you doing? I hope you're blessed and highly favored by God. Good to be with you here today. A lot going on in our world, a lot going on all around us. Anyway, got a lot going on here at the church. We got the security stuff's going in. We've got a plumber was here. We've had booth heating here. We've got all the staff stuff going on. So anyway, good stuff. So good to be with you here. We're going to finish up this week's teaching. Today it's called Rachel Weeping. So we're going to talk finishing up on this life. But I just want to encourage everybody. Walk for Life is February the 27th in Annapolis. Be there. I think the National Right to Life is, I think, maybe even tomorrow or coming up real soon, but that's in D.C. But Annapolis is February 27th. Be encouraged to be involved with that. Be prepared. Go to legislation. Go to Maryland's legislation. Be involved for life. Assisted suicide bills being debated. Potential constitutional amendment to abortion rights is being debated. There's so many other there's other issues that are not on the life issue, but there's self-defense issues with guns. There is educational issues about the gender thing. There's eroding of religious liberties. There are legislative things going on you need to be aware of. Right. Doesn't matter that a supermajority of people disagree with a Christian worldview. We should still we cannot be silent. So I want to just encourage you. I'm encouraging you to do that. Don't give up. Don't grow weary. Don't get frustrated. I'm weary. I fight these battles all the time. Asking you, getting people to get, maybe people just think the world will get okay and people will just do the right things. They don't. Legislators just don't. They just don't. So dealing with that topic, we're going to connect to this. So King Herod. Chapter 2 of Matthew. Herod decides to just massacre innocent children. Any boy and male underneath the age of 2 in his region was slaughtered. Well, who did that? Government. That's government. King Herod. So when we read scriptures, I really want you to be educating yourselves. Connecting 1st century to 21st century. Well, who did Herod represent? He was the authority over that region. They called for the census, which is why Joseph and Mary had to go there and why Jesus was born in Bethlehem. Besides God's providence and sovereignty, right? I mean, we know that. But in this instance, government, Herod, declared to massacre. Listen, if you do not be a fool, around this world, there are nations and governments that are evil. They're tyrannical. They do not give freedom to people. They will kill you. They will imprison you. They will persecute you. The freedoms and luxuries and prosperity that we have in America are not found in many other areas of the world. I mean, Western civilization, European nations, and other places do have some good things. And I'm not saying that parts of Russia don't and China don't, and they do. I've been to China. I've not been to Russia, but you can see pictures. I've not been to Israel. I want to someday. There are industrialized nations and modern nations that have good things, but even some of these nations that have developed, there's so much oppressiveness, dictatorship, tyrannical leadership, eroding at rights, not giving people free speech or religious liberty or any of that we have in America. But don't think it can't be taken from us. King Herod took the life. These people had no idea what was coming. They wake up, not even know it's Christmas Day and Jesus is born. And then they wake up within 2 years. And then the children that they celebrated around the birth of Jesus are now dead. Killed by their king. Killed by their government. Authorized, approved massacre. This is what governments can do. Evil can do. I mean, that's how you get a Hitler. That's how you get a Stalin. To make it more modern for you. But that's also how we get a Putin. Right? Attacking Ukraine. Are the dictatorships in nations in South America, or we get the dude in North Korea, or we get a China, we get Iran, right? This is all modern day. Now, we don't see it all, but it's there, right? And they may not be doing the exact, but that spirit of Herod, that governmental, tyrannical, kill you mentality does exist. All right. Can't think you can debate that with me, but go for it if you don't agree. But I think that would be a thumbs up from everyone that's there. That's what's happening. And so we talked about this dissonance between the good news and what's actually happening, the bad news that happens in life. You know, Jesus did have good news, a great joy and peace on earth and goodwill, but yet they had to flee as refugees to Egypt. The wise men had to go a different direction, and then the slaughter still happened. Evil still happens. Even though the good news has come, even though the great joy has come and the peace on earth has come and all that, and goodwill exists, we still have this dissonance. So today, the weeping. We should be horrified, grieved in our spirit, weep from just this deep, the depths of who we are. And so I want to read this prophecy here to you. Matthew 2. And we get to verse 17 and 18. Then what was spoken through Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. So what Jeremiah proclaimed. Now some might have thought Jeremiah, when I read this quote in a minute, might have been talking back to Pharaoh's day. But Jeremiah may be reaching back to what Pharaoh did to predict a new day, to predict what Herod would do. That's really what took place here. And so let's see what he says. And so in this text, it says that the prophecy from Jeremiah is as follows. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping. A great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children. And she refused to be consoled because they are no more. So out of Egypt, we would hear the weeping over the children of Israel under Pharaoh's watch, where he would kill them all the children, because they were growing too strong, and Pharaoh was afraid, once again, the same type of governmental dictator, tyrann. He was afraid of the Hebrew people, that they might overtake his government. And so he put them in check, kept them enslaved, and then killed their children. Now, but we still know the deliverer Moses emerged from that scenario. Now we fast forward to this prophecy, not just looking backwards to what was heard in Ramah, but now there's this great mourning. And what is the great mourning? Because Rachel, God's people, Israel, sometimes we'd hear, Jacob is renamed Israel, but Rachel being in the line with, on the female side of this heritage of Israel and God's people, Rachel is weeping. Rachel is more than weeping, though. She's weeping for her children. Why? She cannot be consoled, it says. Nothing can take away the pain of it, because they are no more. Well, what was no more? They were killed. We could apply this text to so many different scenarios. The Holocaust. What a weeping over God's people. Some say there's a psalm that speaks to this. I don't know for sure if David could even see into the future, into a Holocaust, but we should weep over the loss of innocence. We should weep when, not just the death of innocent blood, is, I think, whenever we lose innocence. Like they sexualize. Listen, they won't have bathing suits in Miss America anymore because they're afraid it's going to sexualize or downplay women instead of showing the beauty of who they are, not like a sexual object. But now we'll sexualize our children like with drag stories and this LGBTQ movement, all this other kind of stuff, right? So it's all in what is they want to sexualize you into, right? So it's like weird, it's bizarre, it's sick. We should weep over innocence lost like that when a child is exposed to like drag. And we're doing this in kindergarten? Really? We're putting this in kids' books? Don't get me started. That's a different issue, a different topic. But it's a loss of innocence. But this is even greater. This is the shedding of innocent blood. Not just taking innocents and indoctrinating them like many nations do. Again, government. Government can become evil. The power of government can corrupt, even in an American system. Don't ever think it can't happen. It happened with Pharaoh. It happened with Now, Herod, it's happened throughout history. Wake up. We need to wake up to that. If there's anything we want to be woke about, it's waking up to that fact. This doesn't mean we don't trust government. This doesn't mean we don't pray for government. It doesn't mean we don't vote. We don't get involved. We do all those things. Yes, we do. We want to have good government. All right. And that gets us in the Romans where we pray. But in this instance, when government does evil, the reason Herod could get away with that is that people had no voice. They had no power. They had no authority. Thank God we don't want to ever lose that in America. All right, so I'm mixing a lot of things up. Let me get back, but I hope everybody's like, yeah, I get that, yeah. So in this story, we should weep over the shedding of innocent blood. Rachel could not be consoled. I'm afraid too many Christians don't get it. I want those in my church that are underneath my teaching to get it. This is horrific. This is horrible. This is terrifying. This is demonic. This is satanic. This is evil. There's no other way of saying it. Now, all of us, anybody could read this and say, oh, that's wrong. They massacred all those kids. How wrong, how terrible. But then if I come and talk about abortion, they're like, wait a minute, that's women's rights. That's reproductive rights. What are you doing? We want to constitutionalize that. We want to codify that into law. See, that's what they want to do. And in fact, in Maryland, they're going to try it. They've tried it for 3 years now to make this constitutional, enshrining abortion as the law of Maryland. Will they succeed this year? I don't know. But regardless of what happened since 1973, we should be weeping, unconsolable, over the loss of 65 million babies. Now, out of 65 million, 98 to 99% of them were all just unwanted pregnancies, unwanted babies. I wonder if we could have not, how do we change that mentality, right? I don't know. The 1% to 2% maybe from rape, incest, and medical purposes, which really is the life of the mother legitimately is at threat, like they go in to try to save both, but the fetus is not viable, it dies. So those situations are a minor aspect of all of this. So we're talking, we should be weeping over this. I don't think America does. I think there's some that do, and some in this movement of right to life, they're great. Listen, the people that are pro-abortion, like Planned Parenthood and the Democrats, and I'm sorry, I'm just saying it like it is, that are for this type of stuff, it's ungodly, it's godless, and it's manifested itself as a right, as something that's good or to be celebrated. No. We should weep over it. We should mourn over it. We want no innocent life ever taken, not a massacre. 65 million is a massacre beyond any of our wars. Do you understand that? We have been so deceived. Well, Rachel's not deceived. Rachel weeps. God's people should weep because they are no more. A child was formed, a life was given, a soul was made. God created life. God gave life. And a massacre took place. In Jesus' birth, in that first 2 years, it happened in the kingdom around Bethlehem in the region of Herod's reign. And it happens in the land of America. It just has a different title, a different name. But it's still government that allows it. Government might not come and take your child. They allow the free will of humanity to do it. They've just changed the scenario, and they've made it look nice, and they've made it look neat, and they've made it look like it's a right, and they made it look like it's good. And see, Satan can deceive even the elect. He appears as an angel of light. And that's what the Sermon Sunday was really all about, kind of bringing that to light. Christians, we cannot be fooled. Christians, Rachel was not fooled. Rachel wept. She remembers what happened in Egypt. God's people should. And now Jeremiah is prophesying what would happen in the day of Messiah. And now we should look back, remembering what happened in Pharaoh's day, remember what's in Herod's day, remember what happened with Hitler, and we should remember what has happened now in the name of Roe v. Wade. And now we need to fight and need to stand and oppose all such evil. This is not a very positive message, but it's a real message. And I hope it does encourage you, though, in this. Weep over those that have been lost. Weep over those that have died. Mourn over those that have died. And let's stand up and do what's right for God's people. And let's do what's right for all of humanity, because God is the giver of life. Never forget that. You matter to God. So does that baby matter to God. Every life matters to God. And God wants every life to bring more goodness and to oppose evil. For we are in a fight, the good fight. And the good fight is what? To fight against evil and to bring good. I really believe that's a great purpose that God has given humanity, everybody in humanity, to understand that good and evil is coming to humanity. But we can still choose good. Doesn't mean we're good, because we're sinners, but we can choose to bring good into the world. Abortion's not good. The shedding of innocent blood is not good. Those are things that are evil. Let's not forget that, because if we do, then evil advances. And I'm sorry, that's not something I can live with. So I weep over humanity for what humanity has done and how life has been degraded. And I pray this is a day that all the fighting we do, all the debating we do, all the standing and writing senators and legislators and all that we have done and all that we do and all that we believe and all the preaching I've done on this topic and all the teaching I've done on this topic, someday, life will be honored. Jesus is the resurrection and the life. Let's never forget those things. Hey, listen, that's all I've got for you today. I want to see you here Sunday at 10 a.m. for worship. If you're on the AV or facility team, we have work day at 9 o'clock. We also have a memorial for Waylon Hood coming to honor his life and to glorify God at 3 p.m. on Saturday. So come on out for that too. But anyway, Sunday services at 10 a.m. Hope to see you there. Hey, God bless you. Have a great day. And remember these two realities. God loves you, and so do I. You take care now.